All right, we're going to cover resources here very quickly. Now, first I start off with the DXY. The DXY, remember, it's flushed what I considered support. If I just zoom out, you can see why I've had this line in place for months, actually. It was support back here. It was resistance several times over quite a decent range. It hit support again, one, two, and then flushed it. Now it's retesting it. Yesterday, we retested it and closed pretty much on the low of day. That's a nice daily close for the bears. Now, so far today, the day is young. We're retesting it. Hopefully, we stutter, we fail around here, and basically fall back down again to test 104.5. That's my goal on DXY. I hope that's where it goes. I also think that's where it's going to end up going. So that's the DXY. Obviously, that has a big effect on the resources. Yields, they have found a bit of support lately, and they are looking to inch higher. The 2-year, the 5-year here, you can see there's the ascending support. It looks pretty nice. It's a rough support, but I think that's pretty much why they rallied where they're rallying. You can see also the 5-year is really nice technically on resistance. You can see there's 2 resistance lines going back a long way. We've got the 10-year and the 30-year. That's more of a rough line, but you can see the yields are picking back up. Let's see the effect on the dollar and the markets and commodities. Now, dollar and yields haven't gone up and down too much recently, less than they used to, but maybe, well, it'll be interesting because I feel like yields will go up, but the dollar will fail and go back down. So that's interesting. Anyway, let's look at commodities. So copper went back down. It's still retesting its descending breakout zone. So, we broke out. I did say copper, it was going to go up, but it was very weak. And I did say, and I still think that we're going to go back down, test the lows. Okay, that's even though the dollar will go down, I just feel like the copper has just done too little, too late. So, it was holding quite well down here. So I thought it will go higher. We did. We broke out, but it was just, like I said, too little, too late. And now we're retesting descending. If we fail to rally, we're just going to trickle back down here, and then watch out. Maybe we flush. But copper remains, in my opinion, weak. Natural gas, that is finding support exactly where you'd expect it to find support. So this ascending line, that's support. And then obviously I can add it in, but the last low down here, that's also support. So in my opinion, we have double support, pretty much where we are. It's already hit the lows. So it should start to rise again. Okay, but it's pretty critical now because we need to test the highs and breach. Because if we start to fail again, we're going to hit this ascending line. It's probably worth extending it. And if we hit this ascending line, we're probably going to lose it. And then we're starting to triple test the horizontal. And then that usually leads to a flush. So it needs to rally now. I mean, you can have a little fake flush and rally and all that. But if we start to rise, you don't want it to fail quickly. You want it to quickly go and test the 3.65 zone. So it's good that it's rallying here, but it needs to continue. Oil, I'm pretty surprised that it continued flushing yesterday. In my opinion, this 78 zone should be support. Now we flushed it straight away, but next should be this zone here, 74. I can't believe we're there already. I really think oil is a buy. If it finds support here, to be honest, I don't really see this as a trend line. But okay, so be it. And then let's see what happens. But I really think oil's a bit of a buy now, and I think if it goes back down to this line, I don't know if anything can happen, but for me, oil's a buy. It's a pretty big buy. So I'm not in it. Having said that, I have a little oil stock, which is doing all right. What's it called again? Prospera Energy. It's not following too much the oil price. So, but yeah, I feel like oil should really go up here. Not only reclaim the 78 zone, but maybe even retest price support 82, which should act as resistance. So oil, very surprised by that, due for a bounce. Uranium outperforming everything for ages. The uranium miners very jealous. Well done. For me, it's just grinding higher and wants to go test 28.5. But one thing that can just totally destroy this trend, this pattern, is a flush in the markets. I think the markets just have to flush. I haven't made a markets video, but I made one a few days ago. I just feel like the markets have bounced a huge amount. They're totally at resistance. and they should be going down. And actually, yesterday and I think even the day before, they were just sort of hovering. I think they're exhausted. They're going to go down. That could take down uranium. I've got these two trend lines. This one's very rough and not really to be. This is more of a indicative trend line. The real one is down here. You can see how many times it's hit. If we flush lower, it should find support down here. It will also find like general horizontal support. Like make a general one like. Well, let's just do it like this. You know what I mean? This low of the last couple of days here when we were consolidating, this should be support. 25 also is a nice number. But more importantly, it will start touching this ascending. So if uranium flushes, it should find a strong support down here. But honestly, it could just keep grinding sideways up and make higher highs, higher lows, just as it's been doing. So uranium is not in trouble yet, but it did come back down, underperforming the markets yesterday. All right, now gold and silver. I want to keep this fast. Yesterday was a bad day for gold and silver, especially the miners, especially certain miners. I did say, look, 1950-ish, that's your general support zone. Okay. We did close below 1950. That's not great psychologically. So far, okay, there's very little movement today. I haven't even checked the news. I'm sure there's news every day, but so far we're just making new lows, but it doesn't really count. But it's not good. A close below 1950 is not good. And that's with the dollar having a bad day yesterday, by the way. So it's not like the dollar had this big surge and it's going to come back down again. The dollar was unchanged or even red. So that's not good. So gold doesn't look great. For me, the next support, we might just need a big flush in gold. Honestly, and I know that's going to take out the miners, and some miners are so oversold, but you've got to pay attention. Look how much gold went up, and it's normal that you get a retracement. And now we've lost 1950. Does that mean we start to test basically 19? Well, it depends how long it takes to test to test this descending, but it could end up in the 1920 or lower zone. So I think we're going to have a retest of this descending if we don't today manage to rally back up and reclaim 1915, close above it. But already yesterday we closed below it. Now, having said that, and that's all I'm going to say on gold. I don't want to over comment on something that's pretty clear in the picture. Silver did okay for once. It actually, outperformed gold. And this zone for me is quite hard to read. Like this ascending line, I think counts. You also have a general support. You can see how many times it's hit this zone. And that's why I added this horizontal. You can see that it's kind of working. It's a rough one, 22.4 just below. And it held. I do think this and these two lines here really they intersect. So this general zone is support to me. We also had a few lows down here, and also these ones down here. So I think this is support. It's holding. So far it's not at low of day like gold, so it's still outperforming gold, silver for now. Let's see. We need gold to reclaim 1950, then silver can start to act green and actually look better than gold, and maybe silver starts to save gold. They take it in turns because gold's been saving silver recently for quite some time. Silver has outperformed on this way down. On the way up, it underperformed. Sorry, silver has been underperforming gold for, I'm going to say, weeks. On the way down, it underperformed, especially on these big candles. On the way up, it underperformed. You'd expect it to go up more. And then during this consolidation period, it underperformed. And just the last 2 days, outperformed. So it's just something I've realized, maybe silver starts to save gold. Let's see what happens today. Very important today that we reclaim 1950 and that silver also outperforms, in my opinion. The miners, bad day yesterday. I don't know why they underperformed the metal. Both metals, obviously, they underperformed the markets. They underperformed. I mean, already the fact that the dollar was red, interest rates, there was no excuse. I don't actually know why the miners were red, other than maybe bad earnings on a select few miners recently, and that just dragged down the index. Miners like ones I hold, Pan American Silver, bam, all the way back down, pretty much to support, close at low of day. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good unless you're in for a long-term hold, and then you look back in 2 years and it's in the 40s or higher, and you think, oh my God, whether it's 15 or 14, what a steal. And I bought during that period. But watch out, if you've already bought, if you bought at 15, okay, you could nibble at 14, but watch out, it can go lower. Just give some room. If you hold some money on the sidelines, there's no point in going in at Imagine you went 14 down here in October, early October. You don't need to buy back again, because we've seen where gold is. What if gold goes down another $30? Who knows? You could have, and Pan America is an amazing company. It could start going down to 10. They'll probably never reach it, but wouldn't you love to buy it at 10? Because from 14 to 10, that's like a 30% drop, right? And I mean, sorry, 20% drop. You would hate to see it. But once you buy it, you would have loved it once it returns back up. So there are some steals out there. There are also, I don't want to talk about individual miners, but Newmont, absolutely the same as Pan American Silver, back down to its lows, maybe even at new lows, closing near low of day. So Newmont, like Pan American Silver, two great, massive companies that should not be down there, but they've dragged down the index. That's what I think's done it. Whereas you've got some smaller mines that have actually done quite well. Okay, Fortuna had good news, very good news. Down it went because of the index. That's something to buy on the dip. Fortuna wants to go up, deserves to go up, but had to come down because of its peers. So keep an eye on that. That's one of my holdings. EXK had a great day over here, but look, came down because of the index, something I mentioned too. So you have some miners that have had good news, no, actually EXK had bad news, but good price reaction. And that's something to pay attention to. Individual miners with good price reaction, good news. Focus on those. So EXK, Fortuna, also First Majestic. Look at that, very good price action. But again, dragged down. But look how much it outperformed. Basically unchanged, down 0.5%, despite what's been going on in the index and other senior miners. So I'll leave that for portfolio update in 1 or 2 days. But interesting movement here on certain individual miners. But remember, gold can go lower. It's under 1950. It's important that it reclaims it. Silver has been outperforming just for 1 or 2 days. Something to realize. But, the gold miners, I think it's because of individual miners, their earnings, their news that have been dragged down via the index. Because normally the other elements that influence the miners, like the dollar, interest rates, markets, they haven't been doing it the last couple of days. It's really these individual miners and the earnings. So let's watch what happens. That's my quick recap. It ended up being quite long. Sorry about that. Let's see what happens today, right? This is a pre-market video, so everything changes in 1 hour.